delve deeper on the NADCO report. We just want to put tails on where it is right now as far as funding is concerned, as far as also shaking it into place is concerned, the 10-point agenda. And we're joined by the chair of the NADCO Implementation Oversight Committee. This is Agnes Zani. Agnes, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And I mean it, good to see you.
I know, me too.
It's been ages, shall I say?
It has been.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we want just to follow up on the latest developments so far. And I know right now you are with one inch on the ground with the stakeholders, trying to get their input as far as that is concerned. You began this month. Yes. So you can just give us an update. Where have you been?
Yes, by about early January, because we took a bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah, by early January we were able to, we took a bit of time from August constituting ourselves, doing the desktop reviews and getting all the reports in, getting through the NADCO report itself and identifying each of those many recommendations across the board, just to make sure that all the required action is very clear and to who that required action is going to. These are the duty bearers. So that for each of the action, for example, if it is a legislative proposal, then that's going to National Assembly and Senate. If it is, for example, something that is following up on an issue of social protection and economic rights, for example, then that is going to a particular department, a state department. If it is an issue, so whatever the issue was, some issues are going to CSOs, some issues are going to community-based organizations, some of the issues are going to independent commissions, requiring them to answer the various questions about the status of the various actions that were required and how far they have gone. So this is the process for overseeing, really using quite a bit of the stakeholder reliance as primary stakeholders, us asking them, where have you gone with this particular bill, for example? Like we know, for example, the IBC Amendment Bill 2024 was enacted into law on 10th of July. So where is a required action? Has it already passed? For example, if we look at another amendment bill, which is the statutory bill, which was passed at Senate, has it already gone to National Assembly, and where is it? So we are making sure, because what was the intention of the NADCO report with all the raft of recommendations and reforms was to ensure that whatever has been stipulated there happens. The NADCO report was completed in November 2023. Of course, we're talking about quite a bit of time in between. So by end of December, we had this very comprehensive template, which we are also sharing with our stakeholders. And then we embarked on stakeholder engagement. How have we done it? The first way we've done it is by seeking memorandum from them, by preparing a memorandum guide, which has the specific questions for the specific areas that we are targeting to understand where they are in terms of a status report, in terms of the recommendations, in terms of if a particular issue has not been achieved, how are they promising or how are they intending to achieve it. And then, so we've sent out the memorandum guides to almost 208 stakeholders. Some of the stakeholders have returned the memoranda to us. Some are still returning that. So we'll be able to scrutinize. For example, we were able to go through the whole of the public service, for example, and the various state departments. So for example, if it was issues on austerity measures, 30% reduction in terms of expenditures, not using economy, first class and business classes and using economy class, all those provisions we're going to ask, has this happened and to what extent? Remember, we also have other stakeholders, for example, like the Controller of Budget and the Auditor General will also be able to give us data to show what has happened. And the idea is to check whether what had been recommended in the NADCO report has actually happened. Okay. And then we have the section of the public forums.
Right, yeah, we will come to the public forums a bit, but I wanted just to question as well, if you may care to tell me, who are these stakeholders primarily that you're targeting?
So the primary the stakeholders that we are targeting are first the Executive Office of the President. We are targeting various ministries, agencies, departments. We are targeting various community-based organizations and civil society organizations who this afternoon we were able to meet and discuss with in terms of what their area of operation is, what do they feel are things that will take us to the next level regarding the various questions that have been asked. We're talking also to various groups who also presented their reports in the NADCO reports, for example, religious groups. We're asking them, for example, what do you feel feel about certain decisions that have been made. We're talking to various community groups, for example, who feel that they have been marginalized and they're bringing this out. So we are looking at the whole vast of stakeholders that answers the various relevant questions. We're also talking, for example, if we're looking at issues of Article 43, issues of health, issues of education, to what extent have these been upheld? When we go to the issue of corruption, for example, where are we in assessing where we should be?
Yes.
The issue of debt, our public debt at 12.06 trillion, for example, how can that be reduced? We're then going to the CS for the National Treasury and social planning, economic planning, and asking the various questions that go with it. Then there are other issues, for example, to do with the no more than 2/3 rule, for example, and the containment for that within the public sectors. So we want to see the data. We're asking, what are your employment records? Have they been included? Who has been included? Who hasn't been excluded?
Yes.
The PWD issue, the 5%, for example, of PWDs who should be involved in the public offices, and complaints we're getting from county assemblies and even from the PWDs who are saying some of these positions are not for PWDs. So we've got again to go to the relevant organizations and ask where are the records for the PWDs? Have they been kept? Who is who and who is going where and how are they going? So that now we can go back and answer these questions. And especially when we had the public forums, there was a lot of questions that they're saying, but we expect by now that, you know, we should have solved, for example, the issue of inclusivity. We should have solved the issue of the corruption. And we're telling them that this is a process that is going on. We are trying to go back to see and connect the various angles to it so that we can actually get to the final result. So the stakeholders have been our main approach. Lots of reports that we have in there, lots of literature review, lots of comparison, for example, Afrobarometer series, lots of comparison on inclusivity index and inequality index, for example, the Gini coefficient, which gives a difference of coefficients. For example, we can compare with South Africa, for example, with Rwanda to contextualize where we are, and then go into the nitty-gritty of why are we where we are. And in some cases, we've done very well. From the data that is coming in, there are some issues that have been tackled well, but there are some issues that still haven't been tackled well. So as the reports are coming in, we're going to consolidate all this, and then we're going to put it into the major report on the 7th of March, which we will be given to the public.
All right, if you may just remind me